Should be good. Yeah, I had to click OK.
Okay, cool. We are off and running. So, Blake, yeah, man, I appreciate it. Why don't you let everybody know who are you, where you coming from, what part of the country you're in?
Yeah, so my name is Blake Balsamo. I live in a little town in the armpit of Texas. It's called Port Neches, Texas. It's on the Texas-Louisiana border,
Okay,
about 90 miles east of Houston. So,
gotcha. Is it scorching hot usually?
for the most part, yes. Currently, I think it's in the 70s, so it's really nice. But for the most part, it's 80s, 90s. August sometimes we're at 99, breaking 100. But I love it.
Is it humid or not humid?
Extremely humid.
Oh, really? Okay. Is that
Yeah.
a Texas in general is humid or the parts of Texas that aren't bad?
There are parts of Texas, if you go further out west, like San Antonio, Austin and stuff, I think it gets a little bit better. But I mean, we're a mile from the coast, so I think that has a lot to do with it.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
yeah.
And some people might be watching this later on audio, so they'll be watching it video. For those watching it video, who do we have joining us here?
This is Briggs. This is our our youngest. It's our fourth, our quote unquote accidental fourth. We were done at three.
So
My
you thought.
Yeah, right. My next youngest is six, so we were, I guess, playing with fire for a little bit, but he's been a blessing. So yeah, he's all over the place, but he's been awesome.
Well, hey, Briggs.
Can you say hi?
Welcome. Yeah, we're gonna have a good time. Hello, hello.
Cool.
That's awesome, man. I've got three, four. You are busy. Mine are 15, 13, and 3.5.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've got 11, 9, 6, no, 11, 8. See, I can't even count
Yep.
6. And then he'll be 9 months and 2 days. So
Oh man. And compared to the other ones, is he an easy baby or no?
so far I think he's an easy. It's been, 6 years since I've had to do the thing, but he has no choice. He's our little caboose. So the other ones just came around like a cat sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he has a choice, but he's been fairly easy, yes.
That's well, I mean, the fact that he's just hanging out there is great. So we won't play with fire. We'll see how much time we have. And
I,
you said you're doing this while your wife's out there working out?
yeah, so she's always been a runner and she's a runner. I can't stand running. It's the my least favorite thing. She ran cross
Work for
country.
the devil.
Yeah, absolutely. So she's been doing this kind of a program. I don't know, something she found. I always try to get her to work out with me, but she doesn't like the functional movements.
Hey,
I was like, whatever you want to do, just do what you want.
yeah.
I'll figure out what we can do on our end to make sure you have the time to do it.
I'm just seeing you here, obviously, from the chest up in Zoom, but a large part of your backstory that you sent me before this interview seemed to relate to you dealing with being too heavy for a large part of your life or whatnot. It seems like you've got that under control. Is that fair to say?
Uh, Maybe from a medical standpoint, but from a mental standpoint, I've always feel like was as big as I was. That's something I struggle with currently, but here lately, yes, I'm probably where I haven't been in a while. So yeah,
How tall are you?
5'9".
Okay, I'm 5'8", and you said at your heaviest you were about 270.
Yes, whenever I got married in 2011, I think that's what it was, about 270.
Wow. So I mean, I'm being basically the same height. I can't imagine walking around at 270, how that would feel. I guess what's the Reader's Digest version? What got you to being, heavy your whole life, terrible eating habits? Did you go through something? What led you to that?
Really, so high school, I mean, I was always heavy growing up. Weight was something I struggled with. And really, high school, I played football, so kind of being heavy was the norm if you're going to play lineman or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated, I think I was around 235 when I graduated high school. Went to college, started doing I want to get married at some point, so I probably need to get myself in shape and get a little healthy. So I started that thing and I got down a little bit, and then I guess whenever I met her, the comfortableness set in, and one thing led to another, and you stop exercising, you just eating, and you're happy. And before I know it, I looked in the mirror and I'm like, dude, yeah, this is not good.
So you were doing once you did actually get married, you were pretty sedentary.
Yeah, for the most part. I think I would do stuff here and there, but overall, yes, pretty sedentary.
And from 270 at a high to what are you coming in at now?
Roughly 206-ish, depending on the day, 205. It fluctuates 206, 208. Yeah,
So call it 60 to 65 pounds off the high.
correct.
That's a huge amount of, I mean, I talk to people all the time and people struggle losing 20 pounds is like a
Right.
really, really big deal. You're losing 50 pounds or like north of 50 pounds. That doesn't happen by accident. What actually allowed you to do that? And did you do something that worked and it just worked, or did you suffer from the lost it, gained it back and forth deal?
Really, initially, it was probably New Year's Day of 2012. I don't know what the light switch was. It was kind of the I don't want to do this anymore. We plan on having children in the next couple of years, so I want to be an able body that can move around and crawl on the ground with my children. I guess that may have been a deciding factor, but I just said, all right, I can't do this anymore. And I didn't really have a plan of action at the time. I just started running. Uh, and that
As
was,
much as you hate it.
yeah, exactly. But I knew it was effective, right? We do
Yeah.
it effective, you know. And I think I ran for 5 minutes and I was like, wow, this is not good at all. I didn't make it very far. So that's kind of what started it. And then I had a buddy that was a personal trainer in Houston, and I think that's kind of about the time the TRX had came out, and it was getting real popular. And say, hey, here's this, try this thing, and I got one of those, and so I really started with that. Uh, Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good, man. I mean, trust me, I get it.
Yeah, I started with the TRX, and there was some programming I found with that, and then so I just stuck with it. I started seeing progress. I did some insanity. I switched through different things that worked. And so I pretty much kept the weight off until I had children. And,
Mm,
and then once I had my oldest, it kind of got back into that. All right, I've got a baby. Life's kind of changed. I've got to reprioritize my timing and kind of fell out. And I think I never got back up to 270. I always fluctuated. I think the highest I got back to was like 235.
okay.
So
And then you'd rein it back in.
yeah, in fact,
Was it
after
just was it just you increasing your physical output of working out, or did you make serious nutritional changes too? And if so, what did you follow for that?
nutrition, that's always been my biggest issue. I think I really never stopped working out. Uh, I did talk to a nutritionist one time, and we that kind of worked. It's just a matter of I've got to portion control and not eat sugary bad things. I mean, that's just what works for me.
It's so delicious.
Yeah, here recently I've been kind of do carnivore. Uh,
Mm,
that's kind of been helping me because it's just I'm all about simplicity. That's why I love the programming is because I just wake up and I don't have to think about anything.
hmm.
I'm doing carnivore. That's been the easiest for me because I could eat meat. It's just easy. So that's kind of it was always, I think nutrition was the biggest thing that would cause me to bump back up because I never would go long periods of time without exercising
Yeah.
like I did previously.
No, that makes sense. I don't miss workouts, but if I do struggle with something, it's nutrition. I was a heavy kid growing up, and that heavy kid still lives inside of me. I just love food. I just
Oh,
love
absolutely.
it's just it just calls to me.
No, I understand. And I'm the type that out of sight, out of mind. But if I start doing something, like if I eat it, then I'm gonna fall back into bad habits. So
100%.
I,
Yep.
I've had it for 30 something, 39 years. I figured I could be, the next 40 I can do without it.
If I have two cookies, I might as well have 10. I mean, what's
Yeah,
the day's shot anyway, so let's do this. Uh,
exactly.
um, I'm actually quite curious. I've never done the TRX and the insanity stuff, but those things were wildly popular. What, everything has value. Like, what was cool about those programs? What did you enjoy? And I guess what made you stop doing them?
The TRX, what I thought was, I'm all about doing stuff at home.
Mm,
I didn't like the commercial gym aspect. It's just, I don't have an excuse if I can walk into my garage. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I get rid of the excuses and then it makes it easier on me. The TRX, I guess, was just kind of cool because it was more or less I didn't have the desire to lift heavy weights or, the traditional bodybuilding type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really was interesting because it was more of a functional fitness type thing. You could do, different styles of push-ups and rows and basically a lot of things that you can do with the gymnastics rings you could do on the TRX. So
Sure.
it was different and interesting to me. And then Insanity was just one of those programs where it was kind of like, oh, this is different.
That
Let's
thing caught on like fire for a while.
100%. Yeah. And it was very difficult. There was times where you're doing like I'd finish the warm up and I'm like, God dang, I still have a workout left. Oh,
I mean, did they bring the heat? Was it like, you're gonna be busting like some high intensity kind of like moving your body fast anyway?
yeah, it pretty much, it was like nonstop movements for 45 minutes to an hour, depending on what the workout was.
That sounds rugged.
Yeah, it was not, I mean, it was fun, but it was one of those ones where you do it for a couple of months and it's like, yeah, I don't foresee myself doing this forever. I can't do this forever.
Right, right, right. Yeah, but hey, but you were doing things, you're involved in physical culture, you were off the couch, you were paying attention to what you eat, so I'm sure you must have been heading in a decent direction during that time.
Definitely. That's probably whenever I got down to my lightest when I was doing those programs. And yeah, so it was just a matter of I want to do something. I've just got to figure out what works for me and what's going to keep me coming back. Because I think that's the biggest thing is when you find something that's not enjoyable, then you're not going to go do it.
What made you go from like the insanity sort of thing and the T-Rex or whatnot to now, making your way to Lynchpin where we're going to do, there's going to be a lot of barbell stuff in there. You're going to be doing the squats and the deads and whatnot, which, it wasn't a part of those previous things that you were engaged in. What made you take this turn?
I guess kind of the whole CrossFit, whenever it came around and came about, I thought it was very interesting because it's fitness, but it's non-traditional per se. You're not doing bench press, you're not doing squats. It's not the five main lifts. So I think whenever my trainer buddy was all about functional fitness and getting me to do different things. So I think the whole functional fitness aspect of it is what kind of moved me towards that way. And I never had the barbell. I had some weights that I never did it, but I'd always get online and I would do a functional fitness type workout. Like I've had
Hmm.
a slam ball and a box and those type of plyometric type things. I've had those since 2012. So I've always enjoyed those type of movements.
Gotcha. Okay. No, that makes sense. And what in the big wide world made you settle with Lynchpin out of all the different choices out there?
Really, I started Googling. I was doing a program. I started looking for an at-home programming, really app-based, so that way I could follow something on
Gotcha.
the drive.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and it was just like I said, I would make up my own workouts. I would follow certain things, but I found myself picking and choosing the ones I enjoyed. And that wasn't
Sure.
going to better me. So I was like, I've got to find programming that has a reasoning behind it as to why we're doing it. So I started like Googling, researching. I did Ladder is an app that I did for a little bit.
Okay.
It was okay. And then I said, look, there's got to be something out there that has some type of CrossFit feeling, but at home without having to go to a gym. My wife doesn't like gyms for some reason. I think it's personal with other things, but and plus it's easier to work out at home. So I just started Googling and I think I narrowed it down to street parking and Lynchpin and everything. I haven't read any negative reviews on Lynchpin. So I was like, I'm gonna give this a try. I've got 30 free days, and just really fell in love with it within the first week.
It's funny because I always say like it's a big fitness world out there, right? Like there's a home for everybody. Like, there's what, 8 billion people in the world? And there's plenty that want to go to a gym. There's plenty that want to stay home. There's plenty that want to lift. There's plenty that just want to do body weight. Like you're just into kettlebells. Like there's a home for you, wherever it is. And you just got to find your people and you're out there. But you obviously seem to be one of those people that you don't have an issue working out, having the discipline to walk in every day and carve out some time in your day to make some fitness happen. Have you always been like that? Is it a conscious decision? Do you have any tips or techniques to share with people?
Uh, I I mean, I guess my thing is just a no excuses attitude. And I've read something. I always hear people say that they don't have any motivation, and I don't remember where I read it, but it's action, causes the motivation. So regardless of what you do, just get up and start doing it, and that motivation will eventually follow itself. I get up at 4:30 every morning. It's the only time of the day that I really have to get a workout in, and
God
I
bless
know
you.
that. So, but the flip side is I enjoy the programming. So I don't mind getting up and doing it because I enjoy it.
Did you enjoy those bike sprints today?
They were tough. I'm not gonna lie. I finished and I laid on the ground and I've been trying to do more accessory work with time allowing, and I
Yeah.
doing just some ab mat sit-ups and I pulled my legs in. I was like, oh my gosh, those are friggin' tight. Like it was tough.
Oh, they were so bad. I dreaded every single one of them today. And I just don't make any money on the bike. It's just not,
Yeah,
I'm not going to put up monster scores. I put out the effort, but I see some of the other scores. I'm like, holy goodness.
yeah,
Um, you know, so that kind of answers my question. So 4:30 in the morning, you got to do it then or it ain't going to happen.
correct.
Wow. And then during the day, do you just, take some time, you and your wife with some shifts, you take the kids for a while, she gets to walk out and do a little of her fitness as well?
Yeah, she's a school teacher, so she gets home a little earlier. So usually what she's been doing is she comes home and kind of does it before I get home in the evening and the evening activities take over. But yeah, even like I said, the last couple of months, like last night, I mean, I got up at 2 o'clock, fed him, went back to sleep.
Mhm.
The alarm went off at 4:30. Uh, but I was looking forward to the workout. That's
That's cool.
the difference is, and like Tuesday's workout was, I absolutely loved it. Like I don't know, I mean, it was you tricked us into running a mile
Oh yeah.
without it, but I absolutely loved every minute of it. So
Yeah,
like, Monday night, I was excited to wake up.
with the Bulgarian split squats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, and you've got the four kids. Do any of your oldest have any interest in following what dad's doing or not? No interest in fitness?
Not currently. My youngest, every once in a while, well, I say my youngest, she's not my youngest anymore. She's my second. I keep, I got to correct myself. My youngest daughter will come out every once in a while. I'm like, hey, I want to work out or I want to do this. So
That's cool.
that's kind
That's
of
cool.
the only one. The others are dance, and my oldest, he likes to kind of play video games and do his own little thing.
As do my two boys, 15 and 13. They play sports, and we get a stocked garage gym, and they don't have any interest in working out. And they go to their sports practice and do that stuff. And I don't push it, but I'm always like, man, I wish you'd just walk out there. Like I could
Hmm.
help you out. Give me 30 minutes a day, boys. I could help you out so much, but I can't force it. And I just wonder if one day they'll look back and be like, dang it, we had that whole gym right there. We'd never used it.
Absolutely. And that's what I struggle with that a lot with my oldest because we went through all kinds of sports, and here recently we've been playing flag football because he's every bit of 60 pounds soaking wet, and I'm like, we're not playing tackle right now. So and he's very fast and he has the ability to be athletic,
Mm.
but he doesn't have the motivation. So I'm trying to, I mean, you can't force motivation on him.
I was
He's
gonna
got to
say,
find
let me know if you
within.
figure that one out.
Exactly. So like that's a constant struggle with me. I'm like, dude, if you just get out there and work 10, 15 minutes a day, like the amount of gains that you would, it's just, I don't know. We were all young once as well. I don't know how to figure that one out.
100% deal with that all the time where I just have these conversations with my boys where I'm like, I feel like this must have been what my dad went through. Like I'm gonna try to save you some heartache. I'm gonna try to save you from making the same mistake I did. And they just, nah, blow it off and still do it. I'm like, so yeah, I haven't cracked that code either. You know, um, do you think you're gonna stick with the carnivore?
Uh, probably I've done it. I did it. It's been over a year now. I'm not like extremely strict.
Is it
Like,
all meat and like almost nothing of anything else, or what's the guidelines you're going off of?
Uh, mine is really just meat, healthy fats, obviously, and I'll eat vegetables and I'll eat some, if I get a sweet tooth every now and then, so I'll get Greek yogurt and blueberries and some blackberries. I think depending on how hardcore you are, some people are just like beef only or beef bacon and butter, water is your only drink you can drink. I've got to find moderation. I've got to
Yes.
find something that I can do uh, for longevity. So I think the kind of low carb. I'll eat, if we go eat Mexican food, I'll get some chips and salsa every now and then. I don't want to be too strict.
Hmm.
I
Life still goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. I
And
just try to make mindful decisions on if it's going to benefit me in the end or not.
but it sounds like it's probably significantly lower carbohydrate intake than how most other people are eating, especially if they're trying to work out in some sort of a high intensity fashion. So have you noticed anything with regards to your energy levels, or are you humming right along?
Uh, I've been humming right along.
Cool.
I haven't noticed it. And most of the time I'm working out. I'll finish dinner 7 o'clock, work out in the morning, and I'm not eating until lunchtime. So it's a good, and I don't ever feel like I'm tired or I don't have the energy to do it. Like I need to, to carb load prior to a workout. I always feel
Okay.
fresh,
From one former heavy kid to another former heavy kid, let's just say for a second we're living in a fantasy world, right? Calories don't matter. What
right?
are some of the ideal treats that you would like to enjoy on a special day?
Oh man, anything red velvet, uh,
Okay.
some red velvet cake or cupcakes or cookies. Let's see. Certain ice creams. I'm not a plain vanilla ice cream. I'd have to have like cookies and cream or something,
Yeah.
and like those frosted animal cookies. Gosh, I could eat a whole 3 bags of those.
For some reason, I might be projecting, but when you mentioned those little frosted animal cookies, I kind of feel like Tanner jumped into my head for a second, but maybe he's talking about Little Debbie snack cakes or something like that. But yeah, somebody else popped into my head there, but maybe I'm mistaken. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Those are delicious.
Yeah, it's really those kind of treats like that. I'm not huge on like breads and stuff or like Thanksgiving, like pumpkin pie. I could eat some pumpkin pie.
Oh yeah.
It's
Now,
those would,
now you're
would be
talking.
ideal things.
Man, that's you're speaking my language. Well, I'm astonished at how well behaved your youngest has been. Absolutely and completely astonished. When my daughter was that age, she literally was just an absolute hellraiser. I mean, like, she had colic. It was a nightmare. So I'm very impressed. And you mentioned in your email, one of the things that keeps you motivated and on track is you've done the math, right? And you said that in 10 years, you're going to be 49 years old and you're
Mhm.
going to have a 10-year-old child.
Yeah, don't remind me.
So I was going to say, well, talk me through that. What is it that you're looking to prepare for or nervous about or want to avoid?
Uh, whenever you're younger, you hear the age like 40 and you're like, man, that's old. And then as you get closer to that age, you're like, man, I don't really feel that old. I feel younger per se. I just want to be able to continue to be able to, I mean, he's going to be 10. So like he's going to be outside wanting to throw the football or
Sure.
wrestle or do things like that. I still want to be able to do that with him. And I don't think there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to from a personal choice standpoint as far as eating and exercising. I mean, there's other things that I can't control, but that's kind of I guess my goal, my
It's a
plan for
great
the next
goal.
10 years.
It's a great goal. And if I can give you any comfort in that goal, so in 10 years, you'll be 49 and you'll have a 10-year-old. I am currently 49 and I have a 3.5-year-old.
Hey, that's I love it.
So when I do the math, I'm going to be 59 with a 13-year-old.
Ooh, yeah.
And the math is terrifying,
Yes.
but I think about it and I look around. I even look around at my peers at 49 years old that aren't involved in the same sort of lifestyle and activities that we are. And it's not even comparable. Like it's if you're paying attention to what you're eating and you try to get the best sleep that you can and you don't drink like a drunken pirate and you work out, like you're going to be a different human. You're going to be a different 39-year-old, a different 49-year-old, a different 59. I just promise you, like it will happen. And I remember there are just certain ages that they trigger something in your head, right? I remember when I was leaving my 30s and entering my 40s, I'm like, oh, what's this going to be like?
Hmm.
And 40s was better than my 30s, but I was living a much different lifestyle than like my parents' generation and my for like somebody who was 40 when I was growing up, they looked like they were had one foot in the grave,
Right?
and now you don't have to have that sort of a 40s. And now I'm knocking on the door of 50, and I don't see any real reason why this next decade actually shouldn't be like quite stellar. And so I do think to the best of our ability, you cannot, you can't turn back the hands of time, but you can slow it down significantly with the decisions that you make and the lifestyle that you choose. And so you're on the path, my friend. You don't need to do anything special other than just keep showing up.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like I said, I don't try to be, I'm not a judgmental person, but I find myself looking out. I'm like, I don't understand why certain, you're just, people are just eating bad and not exercising. I'm just like, why would you not want to control something that you could control? It's just, I don't know. I hate to see that because it's just something hard, but it's really simple. So,
Simple, not easy, and I think
yeah.
you are a bit of a unique character in a good way because, I mean, just the mere fact that you got 4 kids, you're employed, your wife's employed. So I tend to think you just don't have free time just falling out of your butt.
No.
And you, you got broken sleep, you got a lot going on, and it'd be so easy to just sleep in. It'd be
Hmm?
so easy to just hit the snooze bar, yet you don't. And so that's a unique bit of discipline. The working out on your own is a unique bit of discipline. The fact that you're able to drop like 65 pounds of body weight is a unique bit. So I think you've got a fair amount, whether you give yourself credit for it or not, you've got a fair amount of discipline, which has allowed you to have the success that you've had. So again, as far as I can tell, all you need to do is keep exerting that discipline, surround yourself by some good people, try to make more good decisions than bad decisions, and I think things are going to shake out pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But well, give to wrap it up and get back to raising your kids there. Any advice or recommendation to maybe other parents out there hearing this who they've let things slide, they want to get back on track, they're feeling overwhelmed, they're working, they got kids, they're tired. What would you say if they wanted to pick your brain as to how to start to change course?
Uh, you're not gonna find the time, like if you're looking for it, you're gonna have to make it.
It's a great way to say it.
It's not gonna be there if you continue, like I said, looking for it. I mean, if the kids have to be outside while I'm working out, that's so be it. If, there was a time where I think I was doing kettlebell swings in the kitchen while I was cooking supper at one point. So if you're dedicated and you want to do it, you have to figure out ways to do it because it's not going to be easy. I wish I could tell you that it was going to be easy and that you're going to wake up and it's going to be hunky dory, but it's not. There's going to be plenty of roadblocks and you just have to keep grinding. And I think the modulating intensity that you preach about is a really big thing that here lately that's kind of helped me is knowing that every day I don't have to necessarily show up and give it my all. I can have a day to where I just show up and get the workout in because there are going to be plenty of days where that's all you can do, and that's okay. It's as long as you're still moving. And then there's going to be days where you feel great and you take advantage of that.
So yeah, just keep showing up and eventually you'll start to get more sleep and the little one will sleep through the night and like little by little, like right now
Yeah.
you just got to stack those bricks of consistency.
Yeah.
Just keep showing up and you're making good deposits, whether
Yeah,
you realize
100%.
it or not.
At least I think I am. I mean,
Yeah, 100%. Well, Blake, man, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for sharing a bit of your story. And again, just give your little man a high five for me.
I will. And I appreciate all that you do in the community of Lynchpin. And I like how my biggest thing is how you keep it real. There's no frills. And I think on the latest Ask Me Anything, that's kind of what you said. There's no flashy cameras, there's none of that. It's just the programming and the simplicity and the people are what sell it. And I love it.
That's it, man. We've got no razzle dazzle.
No, there's no big lights and cameras. It's just hard work.
Yep, just hard work. So appreciate it, brother. Best of luck, man. Keep doing what you're doing, and I will see you online.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks, man.